It's Viva la France in La Jolla as Matthieu Pavone begins the golf season on CBS with a bang, needing that putt to fall to stay out of a playoff and maintain a one-shot advantage on Nicolai Højgaard, who would make birdie at the last, but matched by Pavone's birdie. It's a one-shot win and the first ever win for a Frenchman on the PGA Tour. Post Round on HQ is presented by the all-new TaylorMade QI10 Max driver. Experience your drives in 10K. That's Rick Gehman fixed in our focus as Matthieu Pavone emerges at Torrey Pines. Rick, you were out there throughout the week taking in some of the scenes as well. This is a man who had not seen the South Course until Monday. How does he pull off this feat in the face of this field?
Yeah, I believe that he was very authentic this week. He played to his strengths, and he never really asked himself to do anything that was outside of that skill set. Basically, on every single tee, Joe, he hit a shot that moved 25 yards from left to right. You and I, we call that a slice. If you are on the PGA Tour, it's a power fade. But if you do it every single time, you know where to aim, and Pavone was able to find the short grass much more often than he would miss it. And then I thought when he did get into a little bit of trouble, he either took his medicine and got himself back into position, or he relied on the best club in his bag, which this week and many weeks is the putter, to kind of bail him out of any trouble. So he was not trying to pull off the hero shot. He was playing to all of his strengths. He was staying away from all of his weaknesses. And at the end of the day, he's the first Frenchman to ever win on the PGA Tour. It's really incredible.
Season-changing, surely life-changing in many ways, too. I am sure a $1.62 million winner take here at Torrey Pines, and to win on such a legendary plot of land, it is a big feather in the cap of the rookie here on tour. Just his 11th PGA Tour start, Rick, but you referred to some of that form we've seen as of late for Pavone. Had to rattle off 4 birdies in a row to make that DP World Tour top 10 and earn his card here for this season. Is this as unexpected as maybe it seems on the surface level?
I think it's fair to say it is. I mean, he had 0 wins in his first 218 worldwide starts anywhere. Any tour that the OWGR ranks, Pavone was winless for over 200 starts, and now he has 2 of them in his last 9 on the 2 biggest tours in the world. Yeah, I think it is fair to say that this was a little unexpected. You know, we are seeing the young guys who are coming up and playing so well immediately out of college, or amateurs who turn pro earlier and earlier. There's also a story to be told about these guys who are in their early 30s, who have been journeymen, who are starting to find something, who are a little bit of late bloomers and maturing. You can throw kind of Chris Kirk into that conversation at this point in his career, the resurgence that he has had. And Matthieu Pavone is trying to carve out another spot on that list, because this certainly, Joe, was unexpected when you look at the larger sample size of his resume.
Fully exempt through 2026, and will be fully exempt for all the signature events this season as well. Rick, you keep us covered coast to coast, but Southern California very much your stomping grounds. You know that plot of land quite well at Torrey Pines. It's hard for anybody anywhere to convert one of these 54-hole leads, but it seems like at Torrey, it's always someone coming from, whether it be in this case, 1 shot back heading into Sunday or even further. Is there something about Torrey Pines that lends to these sorts of finishes?
There's a lot of things about Torrey Pines that leads to these sort of finishes. We hear all the time about those Poana greens and how difficult they are to putt on, especially in the afternoon. That is true. They are the second hardest greens to putt from 4 to 8 feet. They're the most difficult from 9 to 16 feet on tour. That's the stats to back that up. And the other thing is the margins are very small here, Joe. You know, 1 yard into the rough is kind of, you're dead. If you play out of the fairway, you're in a really good spot. 1 yard too long, 1 yard too short. It's just these very, very small margins. And when you compound one error with another, things can go sideways very quickly, and you can make a lot of bogeys in a hurry. Or on the other side of the coin, you get going on the right side, you could put a bunch of birdies together on certain stretches of this golf course. So it creates a little bit of chaos, especially in that closing 9 holes, seemingly every single year.
I can't help but look at this from 30,000 feet as well. You get Nick Dunlap last week, who now turns pro. We'll see him next week on CBS at Pebble. Pavone this week. There's been so much talk about what the schedule and what the tour will look like moving forward. We get a little taste of this year's setup with the Aon 5 and hear already some success by lesser-known names. What are your early impressions of the way that things are set up here for 2024?
Yeah, this has been fascinating. I'm glad you brought this up. 2024 has been the year of the long shot. The first 4 events of 2024 have all been won by golfers 140 to 1 or longer before the week started. Pavone, the shortest odds that we have seen in 2024 at 140 to 1. I think it tells a couple of stories. It tells a story about the depth of golf in the world right now and how guys can kind of show up, get hot for 4 days and beat everybody. There's more of those guys who are available week in and week out. And it does say something about the schedule. And I don't know what that's going to look like, right? We're going to get our first kind of real-ish, signature event. We had the Century earlier this year, but that was even a smaller field. AT&T Pebble Beach is going to be kind of our first look at what these 80 golfer fields with no cut look like. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see how many of those golfers who are locked into the signature events opt to play the other events and whether that will kind of change and dictate the winners and guys that have success moving forward, because right now it has been pure chaos for the first 4 weeks of the year.
Well, there's plenty of golf to come on CBS and plenty of conversation to be had. We will have that conversation coming up next. We'll take you into the Super Tower in just a bit. For now, we say, Rick, thank you. We will see you shortly as well as we continue that conversation right here on CBS Sports HQ.
This is for the win. Never a doubt. All the way. France has the first.
That call made some 2,600 miles from where the putt fell as our Jim Nance gets ready for the AFC title game Sunday on CBS. But home is where the Super Tower is, and that's where we find CBS lead golf analyst Trevor Immelman. Trev, it's always great to see you and great to be off and running with another season here of golf on CBS. And what a scene. Matthieu Pavone standing in the left rough on the 72nd hole, having to negotiate all that emotion. What did you observe him in that very moment?
Well, you know, it was so interesting to watch him come through that last 15-20 minutes or so. He missed that short little putt at 17, and we were wondering, oh man, is this the wobble right here? He's just brought a couple guys back into it, and then the poor tee shot rushed the layup, in my opinion, and laid it up into the rough. But wow, managed to collect himself and muster up something extremely special to hit it from some of the thickest rough on the golf course to about 7 feet and then make that putt from there. Very, very, very impressive, and great to see when wins really mean something to players, and you could feel it. You could feel the emotion coming from him. He spoke about that he's always dreamed about playing on the PGA Tour, and now he's a PGA Tour winner.
And you spoke of it, the way that he got here with those 4 consecutive birdies on the DP World Tour to make the top 10. Just an amazing stretch here for Pavone, who is now a winner and all that comes with it. Last week we had an amateur rattle off a win. This week, a first-time winner in his 11th start. Is there something to be taken from what we've seen early in the season here?
Well, look, everybody loves a long shot, and so far it's been a season of long shots. You go back to the Century. Chris Kirk is an accomplished player and a multiple winner on the PGA Tour, but did we have him pegged to win at Kapalua? Probably not. Grayson Murray, great comeback story at the Sony. Then the amateur wins, first time in how long at the American Express, and now a rookie on tour. Pavon gets his first win. So, you know, if I was a underdog, so to speak, going to Pebble Beach, and for the next few weeks, I would be licking my chops saying, hey, why not me? I've paid my dues. I'm on the PGA Tour. Let's get this thing going.
Well, whether it be on island, in the desert, or here at Torrey Pines, some historic places. And when you go to quite possibly the most historic here in North America, as you spoke of Pebble Beach, our team, the PGA Tour on CBS, covering all the sights and sounds next week, the most magnificent meeting of land and sea. Trevor, what comes to mind when you think of taking a tournament there and being able to put words to it?
Well, it's history. It's history. It's hard for me to come up with words to really do it justice. You know, it's such a special place, an iconic place, Pebble Beach. And for me personally, if I had to be selfish for a second here, to have the ability to be able to sit next to Jim Nance at a place like Pebble Beach, understanding the history of the golf course and also what it means to Jim. It really is a special week for us, and now that that tournament has signature status, all the best players in the world are going to be rolling up to Pebble Pebble Beach and the Monterey Peninsula. It is going to be a very, very special week. Now, Moose, we just got to hold thumbs for weather. We need some good weather, some sunshine, and it sure will be an awesome finish.
That's it. You can experience all 4 seasons up there on 17 Mile Drive. Trevor Immelman, Jim Nance, you could put a country between them, but still the best in the business. We look forward to hearing you both in the booth next week. We appreciate you, Trev.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
What an exciting finish. The golf on CBS just getting started. Tournament number 1. Much like the storylines we've sat and heard about football coming to a head tomorrow on CBS. Well, that's week 1 of 18 here on CBS. And don't forget, you can scan that QR code right there to learn about the best driver in golf. That's the QI10 Max from TaylorMade.